The Institute of Internal Auditors presents All Things Internal Audit.
Hello, glad you can join us for part 2 of our podcast series on the Global Risk in Focus Survey. This new report from the Internal Audit Foundation provides practical, data-driven research to help internal auditors and their stakeholders understand the evolving risk environment and prepare audit plans for the year ahead. Here to discuss the report findings further are Javier Faliato, the IIA's Executive Vice President of Global Strategy and Affiliate Relations, and the IIA's Atara J. Smith.
Javier, let's catch folks up a little bit. Remind us how the new reports came together and how it offers unique perspectives on risk around the world.
As we mentioned last month, this report was a European initiative driven by the Institutes of Internal Auditors there and now has become global. It's important to know this is a very solid methodology. So we're talking about 4,200 responses from CAEs, right? Different companies, right? But we also complemented that with focus groups and interviews to key stakeholders of the profession. And that way, we're able to understand the risk and also we're able to give tips on what internal auditors should do to address those risks.
The report provides 2 different products for each region. Hot topics for internal auditors based on survey results, roundtables, and interviews, and board briefings, which provide summary reports for internal auditors to share with stakeholders. First, tell me why it's important to create 2 different products for each region.
When it comes to the regions, it's important because as we discussed last month, the risks are similar, but are not exactly the same in each region, and everybody needs to be aware of that. So the main report addresses those risks in depth with testimonials from CAEs, with tips for them. It's a report from internal auditors for internal auditors, right? However, the information that goes to the boards and audit committees must be succinct and straight to the point. So we didn't want to send the board members this very long report. That's the reason we decided a board briefing might be more useful for them. Nowadays, I even struggle to read long emails, right? So let's try to keep it short.
Same.
Yeah.
So how should they leverage the board briefings?
So my advice for this Atara would be that they share the report with as many people as possible. Because, even though we send primarily this risk report to internal auditors as a tool for them, there's a secondary goal which is equally important to me, which is make internal auditors become more relevant, right? We mentioned in last month that there are other risk reports like World Economic Forum, like firm reports or AXA reports, right? So there's nothing coming from global IIA. So the audit committees and top management should know that we're also aware of the risk, that we produce our own risk research, and that should help us with our advocacy efforts as well, right? And I think these kind of things will make boards understand that internal audit function is indispensable for the organizational success.
Now tell us, how can these reports help strengthen internal auditors' relationship with audit committees and boards?
I would simply say they need to feel we know what we're talking about. We need to become, we've been talking for ages about trusted advisors of the top management. I think we also need to become trusted advisors of the audit committees and the boards. Sometimes you don't know what you don't know, right? So it's not just addressing their concerns as board members of audit committees, it's also telling them what they should be concerned about and then helping them to address those concerns and to provide assurance on those risks.
Now, any other thoughts on the risk and focus process or findings?
So maybe my final thought would be that we don't want the risk in focus to become like an isolated report, a nice report that we see once a year. We want this to become an ecosystem around risks. So we, at the IIA, we're planning things like this podcast, of course, but roundtables, webinars, more research on specific topics. We want Risk in Focus also to drive the topics we will discuss in the international conference next year in Washington, D.C. So we actually see this as a journey, not just a research report that we release every year in September.
Gracias por todo, Javier.
Wow, de nada.
And thank you for joining us. I strongly encourage you to read all the Risk in Focus 2024 reports, which you can find when you visit www.iia.org/riskinfocus.
The Fraud Virtual Conference, February 29th, 2024. Don't miss your opportunity to explore the use of technology and data analysis methods to detect, prevent, and monitor fraud. Register now. Visit theiia.org/fraudvc. And now for a bit of challenging fun we call In Focus. The Global Risk in Focus survey also ranked the top 5 risks on which internal audit spends the most time and effort. The challenge: looking at the global average, place the following risks in order from the highest percentage of response to the lowest: regulatory change, governance/corporate reporting, cybersecurity, financial liquidity, business continuity. We'll have the answer in just a moment. Get certified for success. Certified Internal Auditor is the only globally recognized internal audit certification. Apply now at theiia.org/CIA. And now the answer to the In Focus challenge. Looking at the global average, place these risks in order of effort from the highest percentage of responses to the lowest. Cybersecurity, 68%. Governance/corporate reporting, 55%. Business continuity, 54%. Regulatory change, 46%. And financial liquidity, 45%.
Thank you for joining us. Be sure to like, subscribe, leave comments, or rating. If you'd like to enjoy an extended version of this discussion featured today, visit theiia.org, where IIA members get access to a longer version of this episode with bonus information and insights on the Risk in Focus report.